let's just go ahead and dive in here and talk about our top kills in the Final Destination franchise. Now, guys, we each picked 6 because there's 6 movies, but we've got I have 2 honorable mentions. Do you have a couple of those as well, Mitch?
I do. I have. Well, right. I have a question before we start this.
Yeah.
I have included a kill that is in a premonition.
Mitch,
Does that count?
No.
If it doesn't, I will happily swap it with an honorable mention.
We did not, guys, this is on me. We did not discuss the very, very important and serious rules when talking about make-believe movies. That's on me. No, yeah, you could totally, use one from a premonition. Why not? As long, like, I was like, oh, I hope that one of us doesn't come to the table and just say, like, the whole entire premonition from Final Destination 2.
No.
I mean, that's amazing. I mean, like, so yeah, you do your thing, Mitch.
Well, in that case, I have 3. Now,
all right,
there's one from a premonition in the honorable mentions, and there's one from a premonition in the top 6, and I'm hoping you'll understand why. But do you want me to just give the 3 honorable mentions and you do yours?
Yeah, we can just roll through our honorable. Blah, 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 honorable.
You got it right.
I talk. What the hell's going on? Our honorable mentions, and then when we get into the 6, we can just kind of go back and forth. So yeah, go ahead and rattle them off.
Okay, well, my honorable mention, and this might be sort of a hot take, really, because it's usually up in people's best ones, is the tanning bed.
Oh yeah.
I think it is terrifying. I think it's wonderful how it instilled so much fear in that simple little leisure activity. But it's never been. I sort of cringed and was like, oh, this is horrific. But I never really got the awesome factor. I never really popped for it, as a wrestling fan would say. So that's one of them. The second honorable is the double Rory and Cat kill from Final Destination 2 with the barbed wire and the airbag. It sort of happens one after the other. Yeah, I think it's great, but didn't quite make it. And then the third is the recent one. It's the guy trying to get in the lift during the premonition, trying to get in the elevator during the premonition, and it comes down and hacks through him. I thought that was incredible, but again, not quite strong enough for the list.
Yeah, I had almost forgotten about the tanning bed one, and I don't know how I forgot about that one, because it's one of the only times you see some good old-fashioned boobage in this franchise, right? Is it the only time they have nudity in the whole franchise?
No, they put it in 4, but it was pretty needless, actually, in all honesty. This had more meaning.
Yeah, I have memory dumped part 4. That movie is just, I don't need it for anything. And the tanning bed thing, there's something a little Hitchcockian about it, about making you fear something that's like, it's not part of my everyday, but I know a lot of people use tanning beds regularly. So yeah, that's a good list of honorable mentions. And Jamie says the tanning bed one is my favorite in the franchise. There you go. Yeah, it is, especially if I went to Mexico in my 20s, and I was, I think, like, before I went, the girl that I was dating at the time, like, she and I both went like once or twice. I can't tan it. I'm Irish and German, so like I don't tan. I just burn or don't at all. It's like one or the other. That's it. That's all I got.
I'm a redhead that tans.
Yeah.
That's an unusual thing, but yeah, it doesn't look like it in this light, but I do.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, I've got a little bit, like, I kind of have the red beard. When I was a kid, I had red hair, but then I grew up in a place where it's cloudy all the time, and I guess that just killed it. But yeah, I'm very gingerish. You can't really see here, but freckles all over, people. All over. Okay, so getting into my honorable mentions here, I've just got 2. So I've got from Final Destination 2, the Tim Carpenter, I call it the glass smash. Or I guess it's more of a glass squash, but I thought glass smash sounded better. I love that one because we get teased with the whole, like, maybe he's going to like choke in the dentist's office and all that kind of stuff. They tease you with what's going to happen. And then it is just such quick impact and destruction when the glass finally lands on him. And I felt like they sort of even did an homage to this one in the newest movie with the piano. Kind of reminded me a little bit of this one. So I enjoy that Tim Carpenter glass smash. And then from the newest movie, from Bloodlines, Julia, the garbage truck head pop.
I was close to that one.
Yeah, I liked that one. My buddy Cecil, who I went to go see it with, he like got such a huge kick out of this one. He's a big Child's Play fan, and he was like, man, they've never done that kill the right way. They kind of tease you with it in Child's Play 3, but you don't really see anything. And he's like, in this, like being able to see everything take place. I mean, literally, there's like a crack in the middle of the forehead, like the head is popping like a pistachio shell or something like that, and just that explosion of blood, the arm coming off. Really, really fun stuff. But yeah, not quite good enough to make my top, but I was pleasantly surprised. And there were a bunch of people that couldn't stop giggling after that kill in the theater. So I had to put it in my honorable mentions.
And a guy at the back of the theater when that happened that screamed yes at the top of his lungs.
Just that is the it is one of those things where you're just like, you're so pumped to see it without like a cut. You just like a nice clean, one shot. Really, really fun stuff. Yeah. Now, Mitch, did you rank your? I didn't rank them. I just listed 6. Have you ranked yours from like best to worst?
Yeah.
Or worst to best? I mean, okay.
I have. So, yeah. Well, I wouldn't say worst. Yeah, it's like
or like from 6 to 1.
My favorite through till my 6th favorite. So yeah.
Okay, cool. I can do that. I think I can do that really quick. Let's see here. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, go ahead and go with your number 6 top kill in the Final Destination franchise.
Okay, number 6 is Terry Chaney being splattered by the bus in the first movie. My reasoning, I always think it's a bit like when I rank the movies. It's like I don't dislike them; they just find ways of making it more interesting and better. So it's like it's not bad; it's just been improved on. With that one, it was like the first of its kind to really just shock you, and mainly it's in this list because of the quite seamless effect when you try and slow it down and how it looks. It's just a phenomenal moment. And I think as well, it's probably one of those movie moments for the ages that you always remember.
Yeah, it sort of became, like you're saying, like this one kind of lays the groundwork for, okay, from now on in this franchise, they seem to always kind of have that, like somebody says something along the lines of like, nothing's going to happen to me. And then right after that, you get some like immediate comeuppance or impact. Yeah. Yeah, and you're right. For being a film that came out in 2000, like the effects are pretty solid in that bus hit. We got Ryan Olashow in the chat. What's happening, Ryan? So great to see you. Jamie says, love the bus kill. Great jump scare. Yeah, definitely a great jump scare. All right, so my number 6 from Final Destination 3, Ian McKinley killed by his own name. When the McKinley, what is it? The McKinley High School? Is it the high side, or is it just for the town? Yeah, falls, kills him. I love it. I love just the McKinley being killed by McKinley, and this guy in the movie, pretty fun character throughout the third film, but also a guy where I was like, okay, you're pushing my buttons. I need to see this guy go. So it was like they had strung it along the perfect amount, and I just love the kind of poetic nature of him getting killed by his own name. So that's my number 6, Ian McKinley, Final Destination 3.
It's a good pick. I like that pick. You want my 5th one?
Yeah, let's go ahead and move on to your 5th.
Okay.
You're at 506 on the sub count. We're keeping the sub count going, folks.
Amazing. Thank you, everybody. Okay, number 5. Now, this is one of the ones in the premonition.
All right.
And it is Dennis's kill on the bridge when the tar truck turns over and he's hanging over the edge of the bridge, and the tar lands on him and burns into him, and you can see sort of his skin stuck to the bridge as he falls off it. A little sort of side note, I go to watch Final Destination with my dad all the time. It's like the one movie we both go to watch together. And he seized up in his seat when that scene was on, and he was like, I've never seen him do that before. But I think that's absolutely brutal kill. If that had been the actual one, that would have been enough.
Yeah, no, you're right. That is a brutal kill. I really like that premonition, and I think Final Destination 5 is one of the surprising entries of the series. I quite enjoyed the 5th entry there. Yeah, that is brutal. Tar melting your skin off. No one wants to have that happen. Come on. Gina says, I would never use a tanning bed. A local salon got closed and fined for burning people. Well, there you go.
Wow.
We got Nick from the Lost River Drive-In jumping in, says, streaming early as hell, Davey. Caught me by surprise. Yeah, we've got a guest from across the pond, Nick. So, yeah, sometimes I do these before dark episodes just so we can, cater to everybody. And it's awesome because folks like, Gina and some of our audience that's over there with you, Mitch, they always have to watch on the replay. So I love being able to have those folks involved in the chat as well. All right, guys, moving on to my number 5 favorite kill. This was one of your honorable mentions, and I actually really like this one. I don't know what it is I like about it. Number 5 is Rory Peters' split by the fence from Final Destination 2. And I do, like you're saying, there's like the double kill there. They just another kill that's just, I guess a lot of these, especially in the first 2 movies, they're a big tease, But there's something about it, kind of reminds me of like being in art class where you would take like the metal wire and like cut the clay with the metal wire, it just sort of like, it's got that kind of feel. And I don't know. There's something about the, turning somebody into sushi essentially with the fence just getting blown through them. That's you're not really expecting it when you watch that movie for the first time. Just kind of like a wow moment and a really fun kill. I mean, that's when I think of this franchise, to me, it's like kind of all about the fun kills. So yeah, there we go. We got Rory Peters, number 5, split by the fence from Final Destination 2.
It's a fantastic effect as well, because that's a real use of green screen to maximum effect. And I loved his character as well. He's one of my favorite characters in the entire franchise.
Yeah, he's a very lovable stoner. Sometimes they turn those stoners into dirt bags. And yeah, granted, he is like just whatever kind of drug he can use, but he's a very like, there's a likability to him as well.
It was the last thing he said that made me just full stopped it for me, when he asked Kimberly to go to his house and remove all the paraphernalia that'll break his mum's heart. And I was like, oh, yeah, dude, you're a good guy. I like you.
Yeah. He thought about his mom in his last moment. Yeah. So yeah, what a sweetheart. All right, your number 4.
My number 4 is one of your honorable mentions, and that is Tim's glass crush. It's one of those that it was good enough. The build up was great, and there's so many things that could have happened to him all the way through that scene. And then, of course, when it does come down, it's whoever said we need him to fold in 3 places deserve the money they got. That was absolutely outstanding, that effect of him just concertinaing into the ground. It was great.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's crazy. Like it's just one of those that catches you by surprise. I recently rewatched all the movies before Bloodlines came out, and I hadn't seen part 2 like maybe since it came out on DVD like originally. So it would have been a long time. So some of those, it kind of felt in a way like seeing it for the very first time. And who knows, I may have been distracted by a lady the first time watching it. I'm not sure. I can't remember that far back. I'm way too old to remember that far back. Always, it is the best kind of excuse. Yeah, that's a fun one. Good old Tim Carpenter. So all right, my number 4 here. The only time that this entry in the franchise is going to be mentioned in my list, from the Final Destination, Hunt Wynorski, guts pulled through the butt.
That was
drowning.
in the chat then.
What's that?
That was in the chat then. I saw that on the right.
Oh yeah. Somebody had put that. Oh yeah. Eli. There we go. That dude who gets his insights. Yes. Yeah. Like I guess essentially he's like drowned as well is probably the ultimate cause of death. But to have your intestines be the thing that's tethering you inside of the pool. So yeah, I can't even watch that one. Eli makes me really uncomfortable. And apparently that's a thing that can actually happen. So like Max says, and it's always sunny in Philadelphia, like no matter how alluring it is, do not put your butthole up against the suction of a pool. Just don't do it, people. I'm looking at you, Eli. Don't even do it. Yeah, the kill is hilarious, and also this guy is like a total douche.
Yeah.
So I like seeing total douches get killed in horror movies. It's very satisfying. I don't want to offend anyone that has a lucky coin, but if you're a total douche that has a lucky coin, like just come on, it's time to go. But also just very like Jamie's saying, can't watch it, very uncomfortable. Or like your dad with the tar kill. It's something that just makes you feel something on a visceral level where you just can't help but be like, ooh. So that's why, even though the Final Destination is pretty damn weak, I really do enjoy this kill.
Yeah, I will never, I can't with that one. But I will say, there is, I don't know if you've seen the series, is it 1,000 Ways to Die or something like that. It's all really ridiculous reported deaths around the world. It's on Prime or something like that. But it's basically one of the deaths in that series is that death. Somebody has done it, and they showed him as being like a rich guy who was a complete moron, and it was really satisfying as well in that to see it happen to him, even though it is disgusting.
Yeah, man. Sometimes people say, "What a way to go." I couldn't do it with that. I could think of a lot of other ways I'd prefer to go than that.
Demeaning as well, isn't it?
pretty embarrassing. Yeah, I would less dignified than the fence kill. Getting chopped. Less dignified than having your mom find all of your paraphernalia as well.
I see what you did then.
Yeah. All right, Mitch, I think we're moving into the top 3. So what is your third favorite, right? We're in top 3. Yeah. Third favorite kill in the Final Destination franchise.
Number 3 is from number 3, and that is the nail gun. I thought it was, I actually think, obviously there's mixed feelings on the movie, but I think 3 is one of the most, in fact I think Mary Elizabeth Winstead, I think she says it in it, she says how vicious all the kills. I think it's one of the most vicious films. It's really ruthless, and that kill is as vicious as it gets, and the build up to it's fantastic, and it's such a sudden quiet end as well that like the music almost stops while you hear the of all the nails going in. It's amazing. It's a great kill.
I have a confession to make, Mitch. This is my number 3 as well. The same exact kill. Yep. So it's what's her name? Erin Ulmer. I call the kill Nailed It from Final Destination 3. Again, really awesome anticipation. You've got the McKinley kid there. He's sort of like the Randy Meeks of the movie, where he's kind of like given his like postulation as to what's really going on and his philosophy and everything like that. And yeah, you see all these like, oh, is it going to be this? Is it going to be that? Is it going to be that? And there is just something about when the nails finally get shot from that gun where I'm like, oh my God, this is so satisfying and so much fun. Which is a terrible thing to say about a nail gun death. But yeah, I adore this one. I think it's one of the, I would say like part 3, to me, it doesn't have as much of a story. It is just sort of like a bunch of really great kill scenes like connected to each other. But it's got a couple mentions here on this list for a damn good reason. And I think you sort of touched on that, like the brutality of it. It's this kill, especially one that sticks out to me.
Well, here's a question for everyone, really. Would it have been, how much less would this have been in terms of its ranking had she not had a hand in front of her face and it go through that as well.
I don't know. To me, that's all part of it, right? I love it's like choreography. It's like there's something really like even more brutal about it, when it's going through your hand. Trying to defend it seems maybe a little more real. People whenever they try to defend themselves, because you don't see that as much in like horror movies. That was always something that got me in like the Evil Dead 2013. When what's his face, he puts his hand up and it's like split by the crowbar, and I'm just like that's one of those moments that really hurts. And then similar with Aaron and the nail gun here. Jamie says the nail gun kill is the best Rube Goldberg kill in the series. Yeah, it does take a shitload for that to happen. Yeah, they're basically in the back room of like a Home Depot or whatever. All right. Well, that's both of our number threes. So we both got to talk about it. So I guess it's right on back to you, Mitch, for your number two. We are rounding the corner here.
Well, the number two is probably a lot of people's number one now. And that is the MRI kill from Bloodlines. I thought that was amazing. And again, it's the build-up. It's the amount of things you think are going to happen. And because they put you through all these other potential scenarios, you don't see one that's practically staring you in the face. Yeah. And I think I'd forgotten about his piercings at that point because I was too concerned about the kid with the peanut allergy and whether he was going to go backwards into it. I never even thought, even when they were giving you the signs, like you can't go in here with that, there's this magnetism and everything. I didn't think. And then when it happened, I was like, oh shit, I forgot about that. And it was glorious. Brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, that one is damn fun. I may end up talking a little bit about that one later, so I don't want to say too much now. But a really good twofer. I consider that, just you get your money's worth on that one for sure, on that MRI kill. My number two here, I'm going all the way back to the original. I've got Valerie Luton. She's the teacher. She's like the teacher from the original, right?
Yes.
Death by Kitchen is what I'm calling this one from the original Final Destination.
Yeah.
Because this, man, it's like as soon as she gets in that kitchen, like it's it. Like something's going to kill her. She's almost... Have you seen The Naked Gun, Mitch?
Oh, yeah. That was one I watched as a child. I haven't watched it since, though.
So it reminds me of, there's an opening scene in The Naked Gun, and those of you in the chat who, I watch that movie like once a year. I'm such a comedy nut that way. At the beginning, when O.J. Simpson's character is like trying to make the bust, and he stumbles all throughout the boat, he like steps in a bear trap. He like falls up against a door that has fresh paint on it. He like falls into a wedding cake. Like all this stuff happens to him. And that I kind of feel like they tapped into a little bit of that with Valerie's death here. Like everywhere she stumbles into in the kitchen, like things just keep on getting worse. And you're sitting there as the audience member wondering what is actually going to end her. Love this death. I believe at the very end, it's like all the knives get like catapulted into the sky or something like that, or into the air. And one of them just like lands right in her.
It's a towel, isn't it? She grabs a towel.
There you go. Yeah. Yes. So it's this really cool, another great use of anticipation, and the dark side of me found some humor in this one. I didn't want to leave the first film off the list here, and out of the kills in the first film, like this was one that, especially when I revisited all the movies earlier this year, this one stood out to me. So yeah, number two, Valerie Luton, Death by Kitchen from the original Final Destination.
It's a really fair pick, that. It's also one of the most just catastrophic ones as well. It's just crazy.
Yeah, you feel bad for her.
Yeah, you do. I was like, oh.
You feel bad for her, and then that I'm forgetting his name right now, but Devon Sawa's character is basically like in that movie Alex is going to be implicated in the death, and there's a little bit more of that vibe like earlier on in the series as far as people being implicated that way. So yeah, her death is pretty consequential there.
Agreed.
All right. You ready for your number one or what, Mitch?
Yes.
All right.
By the way, just a quick shout out there's a mention there of the subway crash. Again, brutal and ruthless.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. Just that film is vicious. My number one kill is actually because I think it's the most amazing anticipation kill of all. And it's the one that got the most severe reaction out of me. And that is Candice's gymnast death in number 5. I have got a real problem with bone breaking. I struggle really badly with it. I'm afraid of doing it, and I'm afraid of looking at it. I mean, I've done something somewhat similar, so I don't. I know the panic that sets in. But that as soon as she hit, after all of that awful tension for so long, and she hit the floor, I don't think I relaxed for another quarter of an hour after that.
Damn. Yeah, it is pretty gnarly. That one it just barely didn't make the list. Maybe I should have had that as a third honorable mention, because yeah, you're anticipating, and then it is. Have you ever seen that in real life when somebody breaks a bone?
I've not. Thankfully, I've.
I mean, nothing that bad.
No, I mean, I when I was younger, I was younger. I was 19, but I put my knee around the other side of my leg, and and that to me was my worst nightmare. You know, I went grey in the face. I was panicking. I'm like, this was the worst thing that can happen to me. Thankfully, I've never seen it in front of me. This is why I could never be a medic, or an EMT or paramedic or anything. Yeah, I'm just not good with it.
Yeah, it is pretty gnarly. It looks otherworldly, and they definitely nailed that kind of uncanny valley look, especially because, I mean, she's an absolute mess when she lands.
Yeah.
It's it is pretty hardcore, and like, talk about consequential. I mean, that's a death that essentially turns one of the other characters into like the villain, of the film. Which I thought was a really, again, with part 5, a surprising entry in the series for me. And I think having that different kind of flavor there with somebody turning into a villain, so to speak, I thought was a really fun aspect of that film for sure. All right, so we got the gymnast kill from Final Destination 5 is Mitch's number 1 kill in the Final Destination franchise, and my number 1 kill, you touched on it just a few minutes ago. I gotta go with that MRI die, the twofer from Final Destination Bloodlines. Gosh, I hope everyone in the chat has seen the newest movie. It's been out for weeks, so we're just going to talk about it. So sorry if you haven't seen it. But yeah, this one is great because you figure one of these characters is safe, even though they sort of warn you that if you try to get in the way or intervene, that you could become part of Death's plan. And Eric is just one of those beloved characters here in this film. But yeah, once the MRI machine gets turned on, you're like, okay, how is this going to come into play? And of course, once things start happening and you realize that the piercings come into play, and I won't spoil every little thing, but it just gets funnier and crazier as it goes with the magnetization of the piercings. And then not only that, but with what happens to Bobby, you're sort of waiting for, it's like the cherry falling on the sundae. There's just this added little bonus kill right on top of everything. And the way the magnet, causes that spring to keep on moving, just kind of funny in a way. There's these moments where they break the tension for you with this MRI kill. So you're seeing something that's gruesome and grotesque, but they're also breaking the tension, which I really enjoy. And yeah, this one is it stood out to me right away, right out of the gate. The shot from above the MRI machine where you're seeing him folded in half, essentially from top down. Love that too. So yeah, that's my number 1, my favorite kill in the Final Destination franchise. And let us know. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, ironically, both our top kills, they end up in the same position.
True. You fold it in half. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, folks, if you're you know, if you're watching live right now, let us know some of your favorite kills. I know you guys have been chiming in as we go, but especially if you're watching after the fact, drop your let's have some fun. Top 6. You can throw in some honorable mentions. Yeah, just your top favorite kills in the Final Destination franchise. I'm curious to know what you guys think.